Obviously, we have the regionals going on, and that's a big event, and a lot of people are hyped for that. But I'm always happy to run the Big Brain Bouts. It's nice to make players happy. It's nice to put on some show matches and let players that normally don't have the chance to play for this kind of prize money, give them a chance and show us what they're made of. And people can go back into the VODs and watch it if they want to watch more StarCraft. They can watch the games on YouTube as everything gets posted on the BASILISK YouTube channel. I hope it's going to be a fun series. I don't really know, but I've got pretty high hopes for this one, so let's give it a shot. SaLemandr, I think, making his debut in the BASILISK Big Brain Bouts versus HiGhDrA, who's played a couple times, but obviously never main event. I gave Cuckoo a main event, I gave Baby Marine a main event. I thought this would be the right moment to give our man HiGhDrA, who I know worked hard for the qualifiers, unfortunately didn't qualify for the Spring Regionals, a chance as well. What was the big announcement? An upcoming RTS project by Uncapped Games under the supervision of David Kim. Exclamation mark secret gives you a link to that video, and then you can hear them talk about it. I am unfortunately not allowed to say a whole lot yet, but there will be way more information available on the 7th of June, and then obviously I can speak freely about everything. What I can say right now is that I actually really enjoyed what they have done. They've done something different, something very unique. I don't think that everyone that loves StarCraft 2 will necessarily love that, but I personally have truly enjoyed it, and I don't get paid to say that. I don't have to be excited. If I'm not excited, I could just say that too. They said share your honest feelings, so I'm sure you will hear a couple of people who have played the game who say that they are not very fond of it, but I've loved it. I know Wardy has absolutely loved it too, and a couple of the other guys that were playing beta, or alpha I should say, with me also had a great time. We can talk more about that in the future. For now, let's enjoy a PvT main event, BASILISK Big Brain Bouts, during the crazy weeks of StarCraft 2 with the ESL Spring Regionals. And soon we're going to have WTL Code S as well, and the Kung Fu Cups. Like, I feel like we're going to be omega busy all the way up to Dallas. And I think by the time we come back from Dallas, we can start getting ready for the Esports World Cup. It just never stops. And I would say that's a good thing, because we still love this game.
Let's get it on.
Round 1, fight!
For the first time ever in a main event of the BASILISK Big Brain Bouts, we are looking at the main base of our Dutch Protoss player who used to be a part of Team Roddy. I believe he's currently still teamless and he's looking for a new esports org. Let's show you what he's made of. This is the Dutch Protoss HiGhDrA, or as Reina would call him, the Rizzler. He's gonna go up against this man. Last week we saw another man from Belarus in the main event. That was Nikic against Baby Marine. And I kind of thought Nikic was the favorite, but it didn't go his way. I asked Nikic, like, hey, can you get me in touch with SaLemandr? Because I know that he plays a lot in the weekly cups. He did his best in the qualifiers as well. And I feel like we need to invite this man once. I sent him a message, and obviously he was ready for it immediately. This is a Belarusian Terran player for the first time ever in the BBB, SaLemandr. SaLemandr is pretty wild and has a lot of very unique builds. HiGhDrA is a Protoss that, even though he's really good, I do think can be a tad predictable, especially in this matchup, where he often alternates between two builds that he really loves. It's either 4-gate Blink Stalker, or it's going to be like a 3-gate setup with Colossus, Blink, Zealots, and Archons, and we shove it all down. I think SaLemandr's game plan will be just prevent HiGhDrA from getting comfortable and getting in a very happy spot. And I think the more that SaLemandr can make these games odd, as that first SCV is going to get picked off here.
First blood.
Well, at least we still have that eBay. Losing the SCV I think is acceptable if this is your start. If all you want to do is delay the Nexus, I mean, he is going to delay it, right? He's forcing a couple of probes to come to the low ground. He's forcing his opponent to make a Zealot that I don't think a Protoss would really love to make this early on. HiGhDrA is actually not going to go Adept here, he goes Stalker. I like Stalker first as well, but I believe Hero Marine said that Stalker first is terrible. Oh, you know, Gabe, we can't all be Gabe. SaLemandr obviously needs to be careful here. We cannot be losing a Reaper to a Zealot. That would be unacceptable. He knows that. And he won't. He's going to keep it safe. Hero Marine does say a lot of things. A lot of it has a lot of truth to it. And every now and then, Gabe is getting a tiny bit carried away. I personally like Stalker first, just because it's a little more sturdy than an Adept. It doesn't die against Reapers and Hellions. And also it has slightly more micro potential. But I also understand why some Protoss players, or almost all the high-level Protoss players, do like the Adepts. Because the Adepts are a little bit better to scout. And SaLemandr does really need to finish up this bunker, by the way. The bunker is omega important. Wow, that was a super close call. I mean, overall, HiGhDrA is off to a pretty good start here. As that's already the third SCV that he has killed. That's 3 SCVs in a 3-minute game. We'll end up losing a single probe here. 3 SCVs is a serious amount. SaLemandr can actually be kind of happy there that it only stops at 3. Because if this SCV dies before the bunker finishes up, then the Marines are naked. And then the Stalker can just start chipping away at the Marines too. And this could have actually been a bit of a disastrous start for the men from Belarus. Now it's not, and he's going to actually kill this Stalker. There's nothing that the Stalker can really do anymore. Cyclone gets the lock on. The Cyclone will get the kill. So that turns a perhaps questionable start into an alrighty start. It is the Rizzler, baby. HiGhDrA doesn't know it, but that's what he is. 2 extra gates get warped in, and we have a Robo as well next to the Nexus. I think despite losing that Stalker, HiGhDrA is still going to be pretty happy with this start. If I was him, I'd feel okay about it. I'd be kicking myself a little for donating an expensive unit like a Stalker the way that he did, but outside of that, I'd be okay with this. SaLemandr is making a tank and a lib at the same time as he's dropping 2 more Rexes. Gonna go for a move out. Risky, very, very risky business against a man who's going for Blink. But if the Blink Stalkers stay at home, and that's kind of what is happening here. If you take a look at the setup that HiGhDrA has, HiGhDrA is anticipating some sort of a drop, whether it's Hellion drop, Cyclone drop, Widowmine drop, whatever, you name it. He's thinking of that. What it actually is a move out, and a move out is going to happen through the bottom side of the map. Oh, this is bad for HiGhDrA. This Nexus, guys, I think is going to get cancelled. There is no way that you're really going to save this thing anymore. And if he does try to save it, he's going to take a very bad fight. As the Liberator sieges up in the main, is now going to settle for a couple of workers. Oh, great move out by the man from Belarus. I don't know if staying here is the right play. Tank is going to siege up as well. Alright, SaLemandr wants to stay around forever. Should be able to get this, I would say this pilot. Yeah. He's down 7 workers, but I'd be kind of happy with this. Okay, I don't know about rallying these units to the other side of the map as well. That's so risky. I mean, it could turn into a great play. Stalkers are going to blink on top of that tank. Tank only fires once. A single Stalker will fall, I believe. Yep, that Cyclone lock-on is good enough. HiGhDrA is supply blocked. Has another Stalker coming in. Is going to give him high ground vision. We have 1 more tank, by the way. And HiGhDrA has no idea about this tank. It's going to be so weird to him when he sees this tank all of a sudden firing. Is he going to blink? Yes, he is going to blink. That's going to cost him a lot of Stalkers. What a messy start to this BASILISK Big Brain Bouts main event. Will 1 more Stalker fall? Micro is good enough. Micro is still good enough. That's 2 base Protoss, guys. Nobody ever wants to be a 2 base Protoss. 6 minutes and 20 seconds into the game. Bly beat Nicorach 2-1. I actually kind of thought Nicorach was going to win that. A nice win by Bly. That means that Bly is 2-2 now. And he's only 1 map away from making back-to-back playoffs. It would be pretty sick. Sick games, to be honest. If Bly wins against the Terran, it's always a banger. There is no such thing as a Bly victory over a Terran that is not a great game. Shout out to Anka for the 40 months, 21 in a row. Really appreciate it. Welcome. Overall, guys, we had another fun Friday. We watched some great games. Our main event is off to a great start. It is now a very weird game that I do think absolutely favors the Terran. HiGhDrA, I would say, got a bit unlucky in this game. I would say that that's fair. His Observer missed that move out, and then the super random second tank somehow managed to siege up in a gnarly spot. Still a lot of Starcraft left to be played. Illusion with the 8 months and Teacher Time with the 21. It's a good Friday turning into a fantastic Friday, as I think we have another... Hello? SaLemandr? Alright, he's focused on this army, that's fine and all, but why are we doing this with our Raven? Almost felt that was just an F2A move to the other side of the map. He does have Stim, he's going to find a few more Stalkers. What are we going to do here? We're going to drop another turret. Yeah, the shield battery, that's not very impactful. And I think he just kind of F2'd there with the move out. And accidentally brought the Raven to the center of the map. Flew in the middle of 3 Protoss bases, but it lives. Our Belarusian Terran, who's making his debut and is a lower MMR player than his opponent, I think is overall playing a pretty good first game. He did say that he feels most confident in TVP. And that's why I was okay with making this matchup. Like overall MMR doesn't say everything in Starcraft, because especially on Europe, you're gonna play so much against Protoss that maybe like HiGhDrA is pretty good in PvP and he wins a bunch of PvPs. That does not necessarily make his PvT godlike. And SaLemandr said, well, I'm actually very good against Protoss. I like Protoss. I'll play anyone up to 5-8. I said, alright, got a guy for you then. He's playing a really good first game. I would say that he's in the lead. Far from over, obviously, as triple Colossus is pretty powerful. A lot of turrets are being annoying. Marines and Protoss gonna stim forward, get on top of the 4th base, and that one will get cancelled. Could cancel at least by HiGhDrA. We are gearing up for one of these trademark, I want to say HiGhDrA pushes, but he's also getting a 2nd forge, and he's going up to 4 bases, so maybe it won't quite be the push. I think HiGhDrA would actually say that his PvT is his best matchup. He was sick in the WTL, so yeah, maybe he's very confident too, but hey, if 2 people are happy with PvT or TVP, no matter how you look at it, I'll take it. That just makes it even better, right? Not sure about this drop, by the way. I think we need to get the hell out of here. Can the Stalkers blink one more time? No, we do land the feedback. It's important, by the way, for HiGhDrA to know that he never got Storm. And he says, I know. So he's going to morph the High Templars into Archons immediately. Is making another attempt in going up to 4 bases. Attacking into this. HiGhDrA has a very good army to attack into tanks. Liberators, I think, are good against any Protoss army. SaLemandr doesn't know about this Observer, by the way, and this Protoss army is going to show up, blink forward, and there's a double kill, 2 full medevacs. That might actually trigger HiGhDrA to just run to the other side of the map. Does he see that lip? I don't know if he did. That was a lot of units that SaLemandr lost, because that started off as like a quad drop, right? Or at least a triple drop. I think HiGhDrA is pretty happy overall with how that went. Didn't really lose anything in the main. The lips have been annoying though. Liberator is now going to siege up at this base. We're still dropping other turrets. Right when HiGhDrA is moving out, he has to turn around one more time to deal with another Liberator. That's already getting 7 workers, and by the looks of it, it's going to be a tiny bit more. Yep, good target fire there, gets another one. Don't know about picking up units, by the way. Like, SaLemandr, you've been throwing away a lot, mate. Like, you're getting some damage, but you just lost 3 medevacs full of bio. Loading up another medevac with Marines. It's so risky. Spotted the War Prism there. HiGhDrA is going to blink forward. Marines, 6 or 7 Marines managed to get out in the end, so that is at least 2 dead Stalkers, and that makes this kind of an even trade. Stalkers, the Marine's gonna stand back. They know about this War Prism. If he clicked under it, he would have guaranteed himself the kill. Kind of attacks from far away, but still gets the kill. Gets the Stalker too. Definitely a few beauty errors on both sides. SaLemandr could have done 1 or 2 things better. HiGhDrA could have done 1 or 2 things better. It is definitely a competitive start. I liked HiGhDrA's position a lot a while ago, and I almost felt that he could have just ran to the other side of the map and end the game. If he waits a little longer, this Terran army is going to become a whole lot more difficult to deal with. Looking at tanks, Liberators, we have 6 ghosts already. So these Archons that were incredibly awesome a while ago are basically useless at this point. The Sentries, I would say, are basically useless. I think I have flopped one more time. I liked it for SaLemandr, I liked it for HiGhDrA, and I think I now like it for SaLemandr again. Not sure about this move out though. I think he's underestimating the strength of this Protoss army a little bit. There's a couple of hallucinated Archons will be used as well. Stalkers blink forward. Well, now I like it for HiGhDrA again. This was not the move out at all. Don't really understand why he did that, because he has so much supply at home. it's okay to like go with a tiny move out right and risk a little bit of army supply to find some damage. But that was actually an imported army. That was a lot of his firepower. He had no idea what was waiting for him. I don't think he had any idea how powerful and big the army of HiGhDrA was. HiGhDrA now says, you know what? Maybe it's time to get on top of the third orbital, but the tanks and the circles scare him a little. It's got so many disruptors too. For the second time in this game, I think SaLemandr has just F2'd his Raven. The Raven is gonna fly over the Protoss army. It's a bit of a shame, honestly. Especially when the armies get this large, I feel dropping an anti-armor missile would be monstrous. The combination of an anti-armor missile, EMPs, and then tanks firing away the Protoss army is sick. Donating the Raven like that is a bit silly and also costly. I'm sure it's not going to be a unit that he will remake. Not sure about this attack. Up this tiny ramp near a planetary fortress. Sensor tower is going to give him the heads up. We do have a warp prism trying to get into the main. Does not work. Ah, fun game. 15 minutes in, as I said, a couple of beauty errors, but we are battling, and it is a fun scrap between these two. Two players that have never played in a BASILISK Big Brain Bouts main event before. I know I was memeing that I said I went back and I liked it for HiGhDrA again. I'm reaching the point where I kind of like it for SaLemandr again, because he's just creating a terrifying Terran army. And HiGhDrA can obviously like maybe out multitask him with DT run-bys, Zealot run-bys. But it's so freaking hard to kill a maxed out Terran that has ghosts, liberators, tanks, sensor towers. There's a chance that you won't just take a bad fight, but you're gonna take an absolutely awful fight. There's just no room at all for these Stalkers to get a good forward blink and get underneath the Liberators. HiGhDrA is still adding gates. He's just getting so many. And SaLemandr believes that his army is good enough to move out, and this time he's bringing everything. He doesn't need to worry about Novas. First two Novas don't really get the best connections. HiGhDrA has a big DT run by. Let's go ahead and take a look at that one. We do have a couple of tanks. He leaves all three tanks behind, and a Widowmine, and a Marauder. Is that then good enough? Oh, but now this army, I don't know what to look at anymore. The DT's obviously doing their thing, and HiGhDrA with all of his Stalkers, and don't forget the 15 gateways, is going to be able to reinforce for days. Now he can just outmaneuver the Lips. It's the chaos of the Dark Templars that has turned this into a very good fight for HiGhDrA. As he gets all the Ghosts, all the Vikings, all the Liberators. And with the amount of bases that HiGhDrA has, he's going to be omega happy with how all of that has gone down. SaLemandr had a great army. Bit of an anti-timing, I think, moving out right before +3. And not having a missile turret at the triangle was painful. He had a bunch of extra command centers as well, guys. And 4 orbitals, 2 command centers, moves out, was not ready for the DTs at the third, even if he left units behind, but he didn't have a missile turret. So the DTs, they just got revealed very, very late. And then chasing an army with all those disruptors is difficult. And what I really like about the way that HiGhDrA has played this is that he went ham on the gateway production. It's like, alright, if I want to play with robo units and gateways, you don't max out on like 10 or 12 gates. You have 6 bases, yeah, let's make a ridiculous amount of gateway units. Or gateways period, and then make a lot of gateway units. And that is exactly what HiGhDrA has done. Now SaLemandr is weathering the initial storm. I don't know if he's going to be able to continue doing that. This is a tough planetary to kill, so HiGhDrA is not quite there yet. He's going to go for it one more time. It's almost impossible to get on top of this ramp. SaLemandr is down 30 army supply, and I think the third base is going to be wide open, and it absolutely is. This is a difficult Protoss army to run into. So HiGhDrA may not kill the planetary, but what he does do is kill the orbital, and he may just continue going from here. Does not want to do that. He's going to warp in Zealots and DTs on this base on the right side. A scan is going to help for the Liberators to actually get a bunch of shots off. Repair and Lips are good. We have a recall that got used in the top left side. It's not the biggest recall ever, so a couple of the Disruptors die. Colossus is in trouble. But in the end, HiGhDrA will save this base, kill every single ghost. Didn't get the planetary. It's actually some very expensive losses on both sides, but you think with the amount of bases that HiGhDrA has, that he can do this all day, every day, and SaLemandr cannot. Especially not after losing this orbital. But it is hard to kill planetaries. We're gonna have to repair this, mate. Mass repair. Liberator is gonna siege up. SaLemandr could really use a bit more firepower. He will just not be able to get his hands on it in time. After 19 minutes, it's a 1-0 lead for the Dutchman. Fun game. A little bit of everything. They both made exactly 91 workers, by the way. I always think it's funny if there's such a unique game. Those numbers are dead even. Normally it's the Protoss who builds a few more workers than the Terran. It was proper back and forth. Perhaps not for all the right reasons, but I kind of felt that every single time SaLemandr started getting himself in a good position, he did something that made all of his hard work disappear. And he's like, alright, now I'm in trouble again. And then he had a few good moves and he's like, alright, let's move out. And then he was in trouble again. It kind of felt if he would have never moved out, this game would have been sick. Like that first move out with the Marine Cyclone tank, that one was awesome. And I think after that, if he would have done nothing, other than send out like one unit at a time, like one medevac full of Marines or one medevac full of Marauders, one lib at a time, I think it would have been perfect. This is the big ground move outs. They kept on being total disasters. But it was a fun one. I enjoyed it. I think both players enjoyed it. I think HiGhDrA had fun with it as well, because there is nothing more fun than being a Protoss on 7-8 bases with 17 gates. And had a good time with it. The thing is, I felt that some of the move outs, like Terran move outs, are obviously in a way kind of simple. It's either you move out with almost everything, where you have mean evil intentions and you try to win the game, or you move out with a tiny army that you hope gets a good scout, gets a tiny bit of damage, gives you a good idea where your opponent's army is. What you don't do is that you move out with like 60%, where it's too valuable to lose it. It's never big enough to win the game, but you are in trouble if you lose that. Like, there's almost no point to that. And that's kind of what happened more than once in that game. But fun game, regardless. I had fun, you guys had fun. We all won, especially this man.
Round 2, fight!
$150 is on the line for this a single best of 5 between two players that are around 5,800 MMR. In the bottom right side of Oceanborn, we are looking at the main base of the Dutchman, who's a good PvT player. It's HiGhDrA. Looking for a team, looking for an orc. In the top left side, this man may not be 5.8k overall, but he did say that he's very confident in his TVP and he feels it's around that level. Hailing from Belarus, back-to-back Belarusians in the main event of the Big Brain Bouts. Look at me, guys, showing some love. This is SaLemandr. It did not go a Nikic his way, our Belarusian Zerg last week against Baby Marine. Let's see if it can go SaLemandr's way. Just like in that first game, we're going to open things up with an eBay block. There are some Terrans who just love eBay blocking all the time. Someone should invite HiGhDrA to a team if he wins. I feel like that would be awesome, mate. I'm sure that he gets the SCV again.
First blood.
That does actually matter, and it does make a difference. I'm sure that HiGhDrA has had an offer or two, but you know, HiGhDrA obviously is a good enough player that he doesn't just want to join your team for fun. Like, he's a good Starcraft 2 player. He deserves a little financial support, or even for his zero space or Stormgate skills, etc. That's it. Hopefully he'll find what he's looking for that makes him happy, makes the Neil team happy, etc. I have to make it back to back to back with the third Belarusian next time. I feel like I'm gonna have a hard time finding another Belarusian player, especially one that could be in the main event, but I feel like I'm gonna have a hard time overall with it. One unknown Protoss. Who's the unknown Protoss? What's his name? I probably know him if you tell me his name. Don't know if Sickness. Yeah, I know Sickness. Yeah, he's good. Maybe we can do Sickness versus Shameless. Even though Shameless is mega good, but his PvP is not that great, so Maybe Sickness versus Shameless. That would be a fun one. And neither of them made it into the spring regionals. Good defense, by the way, this time around by SaLemandr. Where last game he lost 3 SCVs very early on, and we did mention that that was a bit painful. This time around he's only losing 1. You gotta be happy with that. Don't want to lose the Reaper. Don't lose the Reaper, please. Maybe. Ah, now we lose the Marine too. Why? It was actually looking really good there for a while. And losing a Marine is not a big deal, but I feel like you don't want to lose the Reaper. The main difference is obviously that the Reaper is quick, it regenerates, it has a lot of micro potential, and it can still be useful as another good scout as a follow-up. But well, what the hell is this, by the way? So it's 1, 1, 1 into then 2 extra Rexes very early. Okay. Hellions are great scouting units. He's gonna make 2 more. I'm a tiny bit worried here for SaLemandr, because HiGhDrA I think is a pretty good 4-gate Blink Stalker player, and he is going up to 4 gates. Now the Hellions can maybe keep him busy and keep him at home, and SaLemandr will have quick stim, but a 4-gate Blink Stalker gets executed very well here. I actually think SaLemandr is in trouble, because with this kind of an opening you're just not going to have tanks forever when you really need them. The Adept of HiGhDrA is going to get a really good scout off. The Hellions drive by it. The Hellions will kill it, but now at least HiGhDrA knows. Go for a Raven too, by the way. Don't know how much I liked that Raven in the last game. It wasn't terrible, but I don't think it was fantastic either. For the neutral Spectator, I'm kind of hoping that HiGhDrA just goes up to 3 bases and takes the game from there. Because if he fully sends it with a War Prism and nothing but Stalkers, I'm just really worried that SaLemandr straight up dies. And he does have very quick stim. That's good. The Hellions won't kill a lot of probes, but they may delay this inevitable Stalker pressure from coming. Can he get that probe? No, he cannot. Alright. If the goal was keep the Protoss at home, yay, we succeeded. If the goal was let's go ahead and kill some Stalkers, we did, or kill some probes, we did not. Good news is though, guys, he's got stim. The Hellions kept the Stalkers busy for long enough that we have stim. The bad news is we only have 1 tank. Ay, that's so many Stalkers. That is so many Stalkers. 15 of them in total. 1 Stalker is leading the charge, and this bunker is just going to fall almost immediately. There's nothing you can do. The Raven is going to drop another turret, but it's just a ridiculous amount of Stalkers. Tank is going to try to siege on that ramp. I think the Stalkers could go for it. Stalkers will go for it, but now the Marines are going to stim. Whoa, and I don't think HiGhDrA quite expected that stim. Still gets out of there with a lot. SaLemandr needs a Neil tank. He's got a Neil tank. He's running so low on HP on these Marines and Marauders. The SCVs are falling at a very rapid pace. We've got a Neil sick tank on the high ground. No high ground vision yet. It's good enough to live, but SaLemandr needs more units. Okay. He's building 5 Marines at a time, so that's kind of sick. War Prism is going to give some high ground vision. Our Terran lives. Our Terran lives, and that's, I guess, the bright side. Pretty good hold in the end, to be fair. This would be a great moment, by the way, to maybe just pick up 6 Marines and fly to the other side of the map. Because I think the 6 Marines won't make the difference right now in the defense, but you can do so much with it. HiGhDrA is worried about that, and I think rightfully so. So he leaves a couple of Stalkers on the edge, and then he could maybe wipe in a few more units here with that War Prism. Good hold. That legit could have been the end. Second tank saved us. Forward stim immediately was nice when the Stalkers did blink forward for that 1 tank on the ramp. And SaLemandr is willing to bring the boys to the other side of the map. Doesn't really have that much firepower yet, you think. War Prism is going to go into the main. Left 5 Marines behind. Quick reaction by the men from Belarus. +1 is done. That should help out a little bit. These 2 Zealots are dead, and we're going to go for it, guys. A Raven that could drop auto turrets. Zealot charge is not done yet. Colossus halfway done. Actually, sick moment to pull the boys. I like it. Not because of that, Spacey Mason. I just want to beat you up because I've been doing that throughout my entire history. That's all. The tanks are gonna siege up a little bit far away as the zealots are waiting for charge. And HiGhDrA has gone for a recall. Just wants to save as many probes as possible. SaLemandr needs to make sure that he does finish off that Nexus. Hasn't quite done it yet. Will get it in the end. It has nothing to do with the love for your spy space. I respect that. HiGhDRA's in trouble. It seems that we have a more than competitive main event where a game where I was super worried about the life of SaLemandr, where he made 4 Hellions and he killed 1 probe. He stabilized. He went for very quick stim. And that was good enough to survive the 4-gate Blink Stalker aggression. And now HiGhDRA's army is just going to get obliterated. Bellringer wanted some Marauders. Well, there you have your Marauders. They're in the mix. I'd say just right now 1 tank at a time. There's only one way to lose this, and that is if you unsiege too many tanks at once. 1 tank at a time, matey. That is exactly what he does. Battery overcharge gets activated, but the zealots are disappearing. 1 tank does fall. I mean, HiGhDRA still has an 18 worker lead. This is not something you can't really do anything with it, right? I mean, that's not the main base that you are really dreaming of. I love that SaLemandr is indeed following my advice of 1 tank at a time. He's going to stim forward 1 more time. The Liberator will get picked off, but it allows the tanks to crawl even closer to this Protoss natural. And where we once upon a time had like 5 batteries, we now have 0. Colossus do not have extended thermal lens. I am very confident in saying that we are looking at a tied up series. GG, 1-1 in the main event. Ah, that makes me happy. I just want it to be fun, close and competitive, and it absolutely is. You cannot believe you got badly called out. Spacey, you know I've got nothing but love for you, mate. I just thought, I feel like a man who loves the Spire that much deserves some Roddy treatment. Bully and Spanish Goat can cast it. Roddy versus Spacey Macy. I just need to play a couple games, because right now I'm 5.2k, so it's gonna be tough. I just need to get comfortable. Roddy's PvZ has always been magic, baby. Those were not the same Colossi from ESL yesterday. I'm not sure which one you're talking about, but we did have some Colossus yesterday that had no extended thermal lens either, so that's correct. I need to practice though, mate. I've been casting so much that I feel like I'm terrible at Starcraft. Now whenever I sit down behind my computer and I do my warm-up games, I'm like repositioning my microphone like 18 times, and I have no idea how I even used to have it when I was playing. I have this much space on my mousepad, and I'm like, oh, that's good enough to make some Phoenix, I guess, but I don't even know what it feels like to be a gamer anymore. I just play a couple games and then I commentate for hours upon hours upon hours. But that's fun too.
Round 3. Fight.
In the bottom left side, first time ever main event for this man. We are looking at the main base of a Dutch Protoss player. We're all tied up. Probably felt that he had a good chance to take the 2-0 lead there. And I was with him, because I thought that was a moment where the Stalkers would shine. But his 4-gate worked out about as well as mine do. I look at max specs, I'm like, build looks good. You do it yourself, you're like, Stalkers suck. This is the Dutch Protoss HiGhDrA. Those two games, Terran got bopped in a row with 3-4. Oh, Strange. You're talking about Strange against Battlebee. Yeah, that was quite the series, mate. Last series of Europe yesterday. Top right side of Crimson Court, we are looking at the main base of the man who has not gone for the eBay block for the first time in this series. Instead, he's switching things up, a second barracks. This is SaLemandr. Unfortunately for him, guys, there is a very early probe that is in the main and is going to spot the barracks number 2. 6 scout here by HiGhDrA. That is a very, very good scout. And that should not really make this second barracks accomplish a whole lot. Might be like a triple Reaper opening, right? Maybe a triple Reaper into a normal game. That can still deal damage, to be fair. That is what he ends up going for. Reaper into a reactor? What am I looking at here, guys? I know a lot of builds. I know a lot of openings. I'm familiar with many of them. This is not one of them. Where is my boy SaLemandr going? This 2-1-1 then? Now we're just gonna get mega quick stim and spam some marines. Perhaps the idea was to go for triple Reaper and then he changed his mind after it got scouted. This is actually pretty bad because now he cannot build a single unit. I mean, the tech lab is done. SCV thinks he can win the fight against the low HP probe. SCV is right. Reaper is in the back of the main and it's SaLemandr who I thought could get a probe kill there. But it's not going to be able to get a probe kill. HiGhDrA will once more go for the Twilight Council. Yeah, it's mega quick stim. Alright. There's definitely no lack of variety in the openings of SaLemandr. Yes, no. The Reaper should fall here. There's no way out for it. At least he got a bit of a scout, right? I think you always hope for a probe. Ideally too, but if you cannot get that, at least get the scout. That's all that matters. Scouting that HiGhDrA goes Twilight Council is maybe not the biggest scout ever, because I feel like HiGhDrA goes Twilight Council pretty much all the time. Marines are moving out right now to potentially intercept the Adept, but HiGhDrA is paying attention. Good call there though. Because that's one of these moments where if you see it half a second too late and you right click your Adept close to the Marines, your Adept is just dead. And then you'll be unhappy. Triple gate robo. HiGhDrA is gonna go for a triple gate robo opening. Maybe just mine out the gold minerals and go up to 3 bases like that. I think that's fine. Quick Colossus with extended turbulence this time. You know, there is another Terran, and I forgot his name. He's a Russian guy that I think of. That likes the 2-1-1 opening with 16 Marines. As the Adapted, by the way, did die in the end. It's like one of these silly builds that you feel shouldn't be good, but there's this small moment. No, I'm not thinking Nikorakt. I'm a slightly worse Terran, but he's kind of good. A Terran that's around like 5'4", 5'5". He doesn't really GG very often. But he always tries to kill you. Well, not always, but he very often tries to kill you with a weird 2-1-1 opening. I forgot his name, damn it. No. I'm not thinking about our boy Demi. No, not Silver Crow either. What's his name? Maybe he's not playing anymore. There was a Russian Terran player a while ago that would often open up 2-1-1. I think I'm also thinking of the German Terran VMG Nora, but that's not the one. I'm thinking of a Russian Terran. He used to do this stuff very often. I'll look it up. I'll find him. No. Trust me, mate. When I give you the name, you're gonna be like, oh, that guy. No, he was around even like 2-3 years ago. I played him a lot. Not thinking Braddock, not thinking Nikorakt. What's his name? It's so annoying when that happens. If I tell you the name Tommy Gun, you'll know who I'm talking about. I guarantee you. Does not GG very often. I'll tell you that much. Double Marine drop in the back of the natural should not be able to accomplish a whole lot, as we have a Sentry, a double Zealot, Colossus, and an Immortal. No, not Zardiant either. Bio Boy. Massive Bio Boy. What's his name? No, not. I mean, maybe Modius has multiple names. No, Real is a Protoss player, so it's not Real. This is frustrating. It's driving me crazy. I feel like his name is somewhat similar to Nikorakt's name, but Arthur is a very long time ago. Like there was a guy called Control, right? Control was a old school player. But it wasn't control either. I'm not thinking of control. Ah, that's okay. Let it go. Eventually I'll find it out tonight. TLDR. I feel like he was the only one that would often 2-1-1 me. But he's actually still playing, by the way, this guy. I played him not too long ago. You'll know him, Tommy Gun. Think of a Terran that's actually still playing right now. I don't really believe in this drop. I do believe in the tanks, but I do not believe in Marines fighting Colossus with extended thermal lens. Ay. This was, I mean, the idea is really good here. It's just that you cannot drop Marines there. Because Marines will just get obliterated by the Colossus, and tanks do not kill Colossus quick enough to get on the, especially not near a battery. And with an overcharge or two available. Unlucky. No, not him either. It was a real Terran player. Okay, guys, we'll let it go. I promise I'm not hallucinating. And I'm not thinking of... It's a very obvious player. Once I tell you the player, Tommy Gun, you'll know exactly who I'm talking about. He should be Russian, but he could also be Belarusian. I think he's right. And it doesn't matter. What matters is that SaLemandr is in a little bit of trouble here, guys, in the BASILIsk Big Brain Bouts main event, as he just lost a lot of Marines and he didn't really get a whole lot done. HiGhDrA is going for one of his trademark HiGhDrA pushes as he blinks forward, gets on top of the first tank and gets the kill. He's going to get on top of the second tank and gets the kill as well. There was some supply missing and went for a drop. It's a shame, obviously, that maybe with 8 extra Marines, you just need bunkers here, I think. Multiple, like 1 would not be enough. I'm not even sure if 2 would really do it. It's a shame. I like SaLemandr's build. It's just not very good against quick Colossus and because of that shield battery. If HiGhDrA does not have that battery there, it's a completely different game. And this tank Marine push with the little Marine drop in the back of the natural is going to look fantastic. But because of a single shield battery, what could be a great build is now just a bad build and doesn't get anything done. And it means that the man from the Netherlands has taken the 2-1 lead in this main event of the BASILIsk Big Brain Bouts. We are not done yet. I'm gonna see if I can... Team 3D. Think of my guy. Who is this guy that I'm thinking of? It's so hard actually to randomly find a player, right? If they are not listed anywhere anymore. Where can you... Wait, I'm doing history? That's nothing. Yeah, that's him! Master Vasha! Yes! Rikus, legend! Yes! Finally, guys! Master Vasha, that's the one. He loves the 2-1-1. Yeah. That's him. Thank you. I was going insane. Master Vasha, he loves 2-1-1.
Round 4. Fight!
Thank you. Alright, I'm so glad that we can leave that behind. I'm not that crazy, guys. Top left side of site Delta. We are looking at the main base of the Dutch Protoss, who has taken a 2-1 lead in his first ever main event. He's currently teamless, looking for an orc to support him in his Starcraft 2 or Stormgate or Zero Space Journeys. This is HiGhDrA. And I'm sure that he's going to love the upcoming game of Uncapped Games as well. Because I think my man David Kim is cooking up something special. I'm excited to talk to you guys about it more in the future. In the bottom right side of site Delta, we are looking at the main base of our Belarusian Terran player. He's down 1-2. Being competitive in all 3 games. Can we send it to the rubber match that I would love to see here in the main event? This is SaLemandr. It was actually really fun to talk to David Kim about StarCraft as well. Because he obviously knows that I'm still very active in StarCraft. And when I went to LA, he asked me if like some cool things have happened. And obviously I had to talk to him about Max Packs and just the way that he has done things different than every other Protoss. And David said he hasn't been following it that closely, but he said, I love hearing this. And he's like, I've still been watching the GSL, but I haven't seen him there. I was like, no, but you can absolutely tune in some of the European or other big online tourneys. I was like, he's awesome. That was really fun. No, David Kim is working with Uncapped Games. Uncapped Games is with Tencent, and Tencent has nothing to do with Dreamhaven, which is the current studios of Mike Morhaime. David Kim abandoned us? Not really. I honestly feel like it's mostly been Activision just abandoning Blizzard, in which then Blizzard employees had to look for new jobs, right? Would you want to work for a massive international company that just doesn't care about your game or project at all? I don't think you can really hold it against any Blizzard employee. Eventually they looked for something else. Factory is connected to a reactor, guys, and SaLemandr is going to open things up with multiple cyclones. I'm not a believer of the current cyclone. Might be kind of useful. Yeah, that SV is going to die very, very quickly too after the Adept shows up. Bad start for our Belarusian Terran, who's making his debut tonight in the Big Brain Bouts. I don't want to call this game-ending damage, but if you're going for a weird build, like a weird build is a weird build because it's probably not like the best thing ever out there. But weird builds work a lot better if A, they don't get scouted, or B, at least you can execute them in peace. And you can play your own game. It's like Marauders with concussive shells and a bunch of cyclones. If this was the previous patch, guys, I'd be like, we're cooking. I love this. I'm a believer. In this patch, I just really don't believe in the cyclone at all. I feel like they're kind of lame, silly, annoying. HiGhDrA gets an absolutely picture-perfect scout. He's going to get a second shield battery on top of his ramp as well. I love this decision. Is this second battery necessary? Maybe not. But does it hurt you? No, you're up 13 workers. Just always go for it, guys. It's so silly to now lose this game when you've already done enough right to potentially having one battery lacking, missing, whatever. SaLemandr has no high ground vision here. Now once the Liberators show up, this is obviously going to be a bit different. I'm kind of curious to see how this is going to go. HiGhDrA should stay near his batteries. I guess he's a tiny bit worried about being contained by something scary like tanks or libs. He's right about that. Observer is so useful here. HiGhDrA sees his army. He's probably thinking about going for it. Activates Guardian Shield. Marauders are leading the charge, but the next row Marauder is coming in. SaLemandr, what on earth are we cooking over here? A bunch of Marauders with concussive shells. Liberator is going to siege up battery. Overcharge saving the day here, but Sentry still dies. Still going to go for it. It's so hard to fight in range of battery overcharge. And that actually went really good for a bit, but after losing the Cyclones, it's the overcharge that saves HiGhDrA. And SaLemandr feels that he is just too far behind to really make something out of this game. GG gets skulled. Indeed, an Imba overcharge. And that will do it, guys, for today. Congrats to HiGhDrA, who will win $150 for winning this edition of the main event. And SaLemandr will still get $50 for playing tonight. And we get 20 gifted subbies. That's worth celebrating as well. Vamos. It's obviously tough, guys, to run the Big Brain Bouts during the regionals. I don't want to bother players that are in the regionals, but then you have to find 8 players that don't normally play. I just try to show some love to players that haven't played in a while and people that I feel have the right attitude, that show up for tourneys. And yeah, I feel like it was pretty fun. We had a good time today. I'm obviously looking forward to seeing some of the upper echelon of Europe play again on the Friday night as well. Cuckoo recently played. He played in the main event against Bly, so don't want to invite the same players every single week, otherwise I disappoint the nerds again. You know, Goblin, I am enjoying this run of yours, mate. I am enjoying this run of yours in the playoffs, so there's no need to bother you. Shout out to my man Bellringer for giving us 10 subs as well, so we end the night with 30 gifted subs. So I think that's pretty sick. Congrats to HiGhDrA once more, and obviously all 4 players. If you guys want to read something back about the results tonight, !B will link you to the Wikipedia page. These guys are so quick, by the way. HiGhDrA wins 150 buggies. Cobblestone. Yes, that was a 3-0, guys, but that was not the 3-0 that I predicted at all. If anything, I thought Lorimbo would 3-0, so kudos to Cobblestone, who apparently practiced and were prepared for over 10 hours, and he played really good. He played like he was the better player. He was ready for all of the shenanigans that Lorimbo is capable of. Azura, I'd say, lived up to the expectation and believed that I had in him. I know that he's been playing a lot of ladder and plays in every single online tourney. And Spacey Macy looked very impressive. Deka is damn good. Deka was eager to play. And Spacey Macy made it look like he was simply a little bit better, quicker across the board. And that means that this edition of the Big Brain Bouts is a wrap as well. Congrats to all 8 players for obviously getting something, and especially to the 4 winners. Spacey Macy wants to settle the score with the old man. I don't shy away from a fight. If you think I'm going to die to some Mudas, mate, you've got the wrong guy. That will do it for me. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. I'll send you guys over to a different StarCraft 2 streamer. We'll settle that final prediction. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm going to play some Padel in the afternoon. And after that, we'll do a co-stream for the Europe division. What's coming at tomorrow? Did they already announce who's playing who, guys?